The Turf House at the Glencoe Visitor Centre in Scotland is a reconstruction that provides visitors with a glimpse into the traditional homes of early Scottish settlers. The Turf House reflects the typical structures used in the Highlands of Scotland, especially during the 17th and 18th centuries. These dwellings were primarily used by crofters and farmers, and were designed to withstand the rugged and often harsh weather conditions in the Highlands. Turf houses were built using natural, locally sourced materials. The walls were made from turf blocks, sometimes reinforced with stone, while the roof was typically thatched or covered in turf for additional insulation. This construction provided excellent thermal properties, keeping the house warm in winter and cool in summer. The houses were usually simple, one-room structures with a central hearth for heating and cooking. The walls were thick, helping to insulate against the cold Highland winds. Families often lived in cramped conditions in these turf houses, sometimes sharing the space with their livestock during the winter months. There was little in the way of modern comforts. Floors were often dirt, and windows were small or non-existent to minimize heat loss. Despite the simplicity, the turf houses were functional and suited to the Highland lifestyle. The Turf House at Glencoe Visitor Centre serves as a representation of the daily life of the people who lived in the Highlands before modernization. It gives visitors a tangible way to connect with the region's history, particularly in understanding the traditional way of life prior to the infamous events like the massacre of Glencoe in 1692. At the Visitor Centre, the Turf House is part of a broader effort to educate visitors about the culture, landscape, and history of Glencoe. Exhibits, guided tour, and interpretive boards provide detailed information about the construction of turf houses and the lifestyle of the early Highlanders. The use of natural materials, like turf and stone, reflects the practices of the time. This construction technique required little industrial input and was in harmony with the surrounding environment. Most turf houses were rectangular or slightly rounded, with low walls and steep roofs to help the structure withstand the heavy rain and winds typical of the Highland climate. The steepness also allowed rainwater to run off quickly, preventing damage to the thatch. The walls are built from compacted layers of turf, also known as sods, or grass and soil. Cut from the surrounding land, these turf blocks were stacked like bricks to form thick walls. Sometimes stone was used as a base or intermixed with the turf to reinforce the structure, making the house more stable and durable. The roof of a turf house was traditionally thatched with materials like straw, heather, or reeds, though in some cases, turf itself was laid over a wooden framework. This thick roof provided significant insulation, trapping heat inside the house and making it highly energy efficient.